It is the Riot Podcast. We're doing Wednesday, July 26th here on the show. Today in the show, we talked about a brand new amusement park that's being built in Oklahoma. $2 billion price tag. It's called American Heartland Theme Park, I believe, something like that, and resort. Isaiah, what's your favorite theme park?
I've only been to
That's a good question. How many have I been to?
I think I've been to 3, 2, maybe 3. I know
Does
I've been
Disney
to Disney
World count as one, or is that
that's
4?
one. That's one.
It's one. Disney World.
And I went when
Cedar
I was
Point,
like,
Kings Island. I've been to both.
I've been to Cedar Point. I've been to Disney World. I think I've been to another one that wasn't that good when I was little, but I can't remember which one it was.
I've been to Hershey Park. You've been to Hershey Park?
I've been to Hershey Park, yeah.
Hershey Park. It's a strong contender, actually. Hershey Park, pretty nice.
Really? You're a fan of Hershey Park,
I like Hershey Park. I like Cedar Point. Disney World is its own category, I feel.
Depends what you're going for, you know?
Yeah. And
Disney's just so big.
Actually, you know what? I've been to 2 Six Flags as well.
Six
So
Flags?
I've been to several theme
Wow.
parks.
Yeah,
look
I
at
think
me.
I'm a Cedar Point guy myself.
Cedar Point has a lot of coasters.
Yeah, got some good ones. I used to be a member,
A
gold member, and so I could go as many times as I wanted. I got this it was like their 150th anniversary. You could get a gold membership around. It was like around Christmas time.
Yeah.
So nobody was really buying them then, obviously, because you're not thinking about it.
Yeah.
At Christmas time, they did a deal for 1 week where you could get it for $100. So if you went twice, that was your money's worth.
Paid off.
And so I got it. And this was going into COVID, right? And so then it shut down.
Yeah.
That whole summer, I didn't get to go once.
Oh my God.
Because everything shut down in March or whatever for COVID. And I had bought it that December. And so, but then they ended up giving me the following year. And so then I got
as they should.
Then I got to use it and whatnot. And they did open up at the end of the summer in the COVID time or whatever. And they had restrictions, but only gold members were allowed to go. So I got to go and I got my money's worth. And so, but it was awesome. I love Cedar Point.
So what's like the best? What makes a theme park great to you? What do you enjoy the most? Is it just the coasters? Most people say the coasters.
I think the coasters. If you got good coasters, then that's what makes it fun for me. That's why I can't after going to Cedar Point, I'm spoiled now because they've got a lot of good ones.
Yeah,
most places only have a couple. They've got a bunch of them.
Are you more of a big the highest coaster, the fastest coaster, or do you like some people like wooden coasters more?
I've ridden both. I like the big fast boys. I like the hot dogs.
The ones that launch you as soon as it starts.
And I like them fast. It doesn't have to be that big of a drop. My favorite one, I have 2 favorites at Cedar Point. The Maverick, longtime favorite of mine, and they have a newer one called the Valraven. Neither of them are the biggest drop, but they're just smooth and they're fast and they whip you around the corners the right way. And I just love them. I love those ones. The big ones, the Top Thrill Dragster, Millennium Force. Those hot dogs are fun. They go really high and they're scary. But I'm more of a Maverick Valraven kind of boy.
Yeah, I don't even know. I love going to theme parks. I always enjoy it, but at the same time, I don't feel that in my heart that I'm really a coaster guy. I always ride them. It's not that I'm too afraid, but it's just I don't feel like I get the enjoyment that other people seem to get from it.
You yell?
The real coaster heads. In a fun way, not an actually I'm scared. Help me way, you know?
Do you go hands up? That's an important question.
Yeah, I like to do the hands up.
See, I go back and forth. Sometimes I get a little bit too nervous. And so I'll go hands up.
Slide right out?
And I'll bring it back down. And then I'll put them back up.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm going over the big hill.
You got to put the hands up.
I'll come over the hill, hands up. And then by the time we really start dropping, the hands will go down because I'll get scared. And I'll grab on. And then by the time I'm about halfway down and my heart came back to my chest out of my stomach, then I'll go hands back up again.
There you go. There you go. That's one way to do it. Well, I'm we're getting to the end of amusement park season, so
I haven't went at all this summer. Have you?
No, neither have I. I kept playing with the idea. Has been kicked around many times, but it hasn't worked out yet. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe there's still time.
Maybe I'll take a lady there.
Oh.
It's always a good date spot.
It is a good date spot.
If you're not a first date spot, but if you have a girlfriend, that makes for a fun day for both of you.
Sure.
Because nobody can be mad at each other there. And you're waiting in line a bunch and stuff, and so you can talk and hang out. Get on the coaster.
Good food usually.
Oh, yeah, and so it's always a grand time. I'm with that.
All right. Enjoy your amusement park time if you get that in this summer, and enjoy the podcast. We'll catch you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Nobody does it better. The Riot Radio U.
We got 2 massive contracts that were handed out yesterday in different sports, but they both were record-setting deals. First, in the NFL, you have Justin Herbert, quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, who was signed to a 5-year, $262.5 million extension. Let's say that again. $262.5 million. It's the biggest biggest contract ever for a quarterback in the NFL.
Perfect.
Pretty big deal.
Perfect.
But get this. In the NBA, Jaylen Brown, star for the Boston Celtics, also signed a massive deal to make him the highest paid player ever in NBA history. 5 years, $304 million.
One of these is not like the other.
Okay, let's hear it. There's only 2, so they're both, if one is not like the other, they're both not like the other. But
yeah,
go
one
on.
of these is deserved, one of these is not.
Okay.
It's pretty evident. If you've ever followed sports, you obviously know Jaylen Brown becoming the highest paid NBA player ever is insane, considering he's not even like a top 20 player in the NBA.
Top 20?
Not even top 20.
Some might disagree.
I think Donovan Mitchell's like probably like top maybe 15.
Uh-huh.
And Jaylen Brown's still way farther down.
Why don't you use an example you're not biased towards?
You're talking about, I can go through the list.
Can you name 20?
I guarantee 20 players. Did you watch Jaylen Brown in the playoffs last year?
Uh-huh.
He can't even dribble with his left hand. He's the highest paid player in the NBA. That's insane. That's not even close. It's not even close. He's not even in top 10. He's not even close to top 10.
Well,
Giannis, LeBron, Steph, Jokic, Kevin Durant, Kawhi, Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Damian Lillard. That's 10.
Bradley Beal, you think is clearly better than Jaylen Brown? We're getting bogged down here.
Then we'll swap him out. Jason Tatum. Is he better than Jason Tatum?
No, he's
That's
not even
10
better
players, and I still haven't named Embiid. I haven't named Luka. I haven't named Kyrie. I haven't named Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, Paul George. Who do you want? I mean, he's James Harden. He's way down there.
I
He's
think
not even
15
close.
sounds about right.
He's like 20.
I mean, the real thing is he's not the best player on his own team. So how do you then justify him being the highest paid player? But I mean, he's been to the finals. It's pretty good.
Carried.
Justin Herbert hasn't done anywhere close to that.
Yeah, but he's clearly a top 4 QB in the NFL.
Everyone says that.
He's top 5 for sure. I mean,
keep hearing that.
You got Patty Mahomes. You got
2 Super
Joe
Bowls.
Burrow.
Made it to the Super Bowl.
Aaron Rodgers.
Clearly.
But last year, Aaron Rodgers' team didn't even go above 500.
Yeah. Every other year, though, MVPs, Super Bowls.
Yeah, but I think Justin Herbert, I mean, yet again, his team hasn't been incredible around him, but at the same time, he's been really great. I mean, if you look at his stats, he's like the same as Joe Burrow for the most part.
I think these are very similar. I don't think either one is the best or...
I don't think they're similar at all.
I think they're similar because the alternative is you either make them the highest paid player or they're going to leave.
Yeah, but like Jaylen Brown's completely different. No one like Justin Herbert has to become the highest paid quarterback because he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. That's just how it works. He'll be the highest paid quarterback until Joe Burrow gets signed in like 2 weeks. And so his will be over. Jaylen Brown, I think that's crazy. I think that's a huge waste of money for the Celtics. That's a huge waste of money.
You think it'd be better for them to get rid of him?
I think it would have been. I think they should have traded him. They'd been way better off because clearly it's not going to work. You think the Celtics are going back to the finals with this contract? No chance.
Yeah, they're losing a lot of depth here. I don't know. It's hard to justify, but I just think they're similar. I think eventually somebody will come along. It'll be signed for equal to or greater than Jaylen Brown, and
hopefully somebody does.
Somebody deserving.
Yeah.
This is Radio U's Worst of the Riot.
Have you seen reports coming out about the dogs at the White House?
Causing some trouble.
They sure are. At first, when I saw this, I kind of glossed over it because I was like, President Biden's dog's biting somebody. That's old news, isn't it? Like that happened. But this is a new dog and different people that are being bitten. So I think that's the major thing is he already had one dog sent away from the White House, right? Major.
Yep.
A while back. That was early on in the presidency because Major was apparently acting aggressively, to say the least. But now he's also getting some flack because his 2-year-old German Shepherd, Commander.
Heck of a name.
It is a great name.
Commander.
You think after the football team or?
No.
No.
He's not a big one. Maybe I guess it could be.
He could be.
He's in D.C.,
He
so
is
it
in
makes
DC.
sense.
It make a lot of sense. Commander has bitten 7 people in a 4-month span. So some are saying that this isn't even the tip of the iceberg because this is only covering a certain amount of time where these records have come out that say Commander bit 7 people in the Secret Service over the course of October of last year through January of this year. So that's forgetting the time prior to that. And since January, who knows who else Commander has bitten?
That's crazy. 7 in 4 months?
What are the odds, right?
That's 2 people a month almost.
Yeah.
And my question is, like, if my dog Jim bit somebody, like, he's getting in trouble, right? If he bit 2 people, then, like, people start wondering, like, what are you going to do about this dog?
Yeah.
7 in 4 months? Like, there's some special treatment going on here.
Yeah.
Some very special treatment going on.
I think because it's the president's dog.
Yeah.
So what are you going to tell the president to, like, what are you going to recommend?
To figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think our ownership skills here, they say that it's not on the dog. It's on the owner.
Yeah, they always say that.
So when is Mr. Biden going to start taking some...
Careful here. I just wonder...
Oh, goodness.
They do always say that. I am curious to wonder how much is Joe himself actually involved in the care of the dogs. I can't imagine he's feeding them. You think he's reprimanding? Like when the dog does bite somebody, you think it's actually Joe Biden himself going, hey now.
Commander.
What would he say?
You think he's spanking him?
I don't know. Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe we need to get a spanking on this dog.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking.
It is questionable, and it is concerning since there's been multiple dogs now. But.
It sounds like maybe President Joe shouldn't have a dog at this point. If this is back-to-back dogs that are biting people.
Whether it's him actually like really putting in the time or somebody else.
Whoever's in charge of the dog.
Yeah.
This is a bad look. I don't think we're ready for a dog. Maybe we're not ready for a dog. You're not always ready.
He's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah,
running the country at all.
And like the White House sounds like a stressful place anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but you think that the president always wants to have a dog because it seems like real American, you know?
Yeah.
It's probably really good press to have a dog.
Oh, it's got to be.
Except when your dog's biting people, then all of a sudden it sounds like you aren't ready for a dog.
He found the one way to make a dog bad press.
Oh, hi there.
This worst of the riot.
Crank that up.
Radio U.
I've got a new dating term that's causing controversy, not just online, but among actual relationship experts. There's no agreement on whether this is a good, proper, or bad, detrimental thing to do.
I'll tell you.
All right. You're the real relationship expert here. The term is benching.
Boom. Sit on the bench. Sit it down.
Set someone on the sidelines for a while. The idea is a move where you make people, where you have like a bench of people that could be potential dating partners, but you don't have them actually. You don't settle down and choose one that's actually your committed partner. You kind of have a few different options. We've called this, I think we've discussed this on the show in the past. I think we had our own term for it. I called it Rushmoring.
Rushmoring?
Yeah.
What is this?
Rushmore, you have like, because Mount Rushmore, you have like 4 people, 4 heads carved into stone. I'll definitely choose one of these heads, but can I narrow it down to just one?
Oh, this is called keeping a roster.
Some call it keeping a roster. And here's where the controversy comes in. Some dating experts, for example, Rachel D'Alto, it says it's like you like them, you just don't like them enough to prioritize them, and that is very it's insensitive to the person being benched because they'll likely start to feel like they aren't important to you. They're not important enough for you to put them number one, to prioritize them. Eventually, that might not happen necessarily at first, but sooner or later, they're going to get uncomfortable with that. So that's insensitive to them, right?
Yeah.
But the opposing argument, one made by dating coach Grace Lee, she says, if you can build a bench, dating more than one person at one time is actually, that's what dating is all about.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't lie or lead somebody on, but until things come to a head where one of those people on your bench demands either your full commitment or they're out, what's the big deal? So where do you stand?
I lean more with Grace.
You're on the Grace side.
I think so.
The side of Grace.
I am on the side of Grace, which is, but it has to be done the right way. You know, I think as long as you're just open about it. If you're casually dating, then you don't have to just go on dates with one person. If you tell them that up front.
Yeah.
I've been on dates with girls, and we've literally talked about their dates that happened 2 days prior. If they have a date coming later that week, whatever it is, like we've talked about that openly, and so I don't think it matters. I think it's perfectly fine.
Do you think that there's a cutoff where somebody just can't, where you've gone far enough and somebody just can't be on your bench anymore? You either have to, is that like a certain date number?
I think it just depends on how much time you spent together, how many times you've hung out, and also like what your guys' like, both of your intentions are, where you have to decide whether we're either going to end things because we're getting too serious and someone's feelings are going to get hurt, or it's just going to be me and you. And I'm going to clear out my bench. I'm going to clear out the roster.
Yeah.
It's just me and you then. So then you together would decide that. But sometimes people are cool with just continuing along.
Sometimes benching to me, it feels risky because it feels like you're almost getting the potential feelings hurt of being in an actual relationship without ever being in an actual relationship. It's just a very casual thing. So it is risky business if you're going to be on somebody's bench. I feel like they should do you have to disclose that early on?
Saying that like I'm talking to multiple people?
Yeah.
I think
Is that like a second date thing of like, hey, I know we've seen each other, things are going well, but at the same time, you're not the only person.
I don't think it's a second date thing. I think that's like a fourth date thing.
Fourth date.
Yeah. I think on the second date, you're figuring out if you even like them or not. Like if you got a second date going, maybe by the end of the second date, if you're feeling like really good about it, then you can ask them like, okay, so what, like just figuring out what their intentions are, I think is the only thing that really matters.
I think it's this is so difficult to map out because every single person is going to be different when it comes to this.
Yeah. Some people are going to just want to date one person, whatever it is, and then just like see if it works out with them and then go on to the next one. Some people go on dates with like multiple people at a time and figure out who they like. It just kind of depends. As long as you're honest, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Not on the same date, though.
Not usually.
Radio U's Worst of the Riot podcast.
Would you rather lead a line dance at a wedding or have to give a toast at a wedding that you didn't know you had to give? Be fully unprepared and just make it up on the spot. People are texting in. Kim says, I'll give a toast even if I'm not prepared.
I like it.
Okay. Philip says, I'll lead the YMCA.
YMCA.
At a wedding? You think that's a good way? I guess if it gets people up and moving.
There's some weird things people do at weddings.
That's for sure. Jonathan says he'll filibuster.
Filling time, baby.
Which does sound like that'd be a fun dance, but he means like speech.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jessica says, give a toast because I'm usually quick with words, but I have 2 left feet, so there's no real option but the toast. By default, because she's a bad dancer, she's got to give a toast.
Got it.
Regina, I was going to say toast, but I do actually like to do a good job. So she thinks she wouldn't be able to do a good job ad-libbing. And so instead, I'm going with a line dance. It just needs to be one I know. That throws a real monkey wrench. Even when you listed off the line dances a moment ago, there was a bunch I've never heard of. So I sure don't know how to do them. And so that would make it real difficult to lead.
Yeah, it depends how familiar the crowd is, too. Because if you're leading something that you don't know, I guess you got to be prepared for the line dance.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, you have to have some familiarity with it.
Yeah, there's no way that we're going to ask you to do a random line dance. You'd never know what to do. Well, but some of them...
The instructions are in the song.
To the left,
usually.
to the left.
Yeah.
Right. That's only like a couple of them, though.
Yeah, the good ones. Ryan says that he'll do this speech. He can get more laughs that way.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I don't know, Ryan.
Yeah.
If you led the line dance...
Uh-huh.
There would be laughs for you.
Yeah, who knows? They might be laughing at you and not with you.
Uh-huh.
And D says she's been a teacher, so ad-libbing, making stuff up would be no issue for her, and so she'll take the toast.
Everyone thinks they can do the speech. I think it's pretty incredible. We had a lot of confident people here.
I'm surprised by that. What is your choice for Would You Rather Wednesday?
See, I just gave a speech on Saturday, best man speech. Many people said greatest they've ever heard. Right?
But you agonized over that.
Yeah, I mean, I had it prepared.
Yeah.
It was pretty grand. I mean, you don't just go up there and give the greatest best man speech of all time by just winging it.
No.
But also, I think that for me, I think it's better. I think I would rather lead the line dance.
You don't want to give a speech you're not prepared for.
It's not that I don't want to give a speech I'm not prepared for, but after I got done with that, it was every single person I saw afterwards wanted to talk about, like, me talking.
Oh, wow.
Every single person I saw. There wasn't a person that I saw after I gave the best man speech that's something we talked about.
Yeah,
and so,
that's true.
If I led a line dance, then no one's going to be talking about that. You're going to lead on the rest of the night.
Yeah.
You're not trying to steal the show.
No.
And so for me personally, I'm leading the line dance and just letting the bride and the groom do their thing. And that way I can just, like, enjoy my night and just be able to do whatever afterwards.
I guess we just have, maybe it comes down to we have an audience of people that don't want to dance.
Yeah, I don't think we have a lot of dancers. I love to dance. Not. I know all the line dances. I love dancing. I think it's easy, too. It's leading a line dance would be so easy.
That's what I think, too.
Everybody already kind of knows it.
Yeah, right. If I do the cha-cha slide, the instructions are in there. So even if I'm doing a bad job of leading it, which I probably would, I'll admit, I still think that everybody will just kind of, they'll not even pay attention. They're just listening to the song. They're having a good time with their friends, whatever. If I do a speech, I think, first of all, you might think I'd be good at ad-libbing. I'm not. Everything I say here on the show is scripted, including this. And secondly, if you have to ad-lib, I think either you're going to, like, try to throw in jokes that are going to fall flat because you're just making them up, or you're going to drone on not knowing how long you're taking, and people are going to get bored of you, and it's just going to, like, there's a much bigger risk of doing an unprepared speech.
Way bigger risk, and neither have a high reward. I mean, I think that if you lead the line dance in a crappy way, 15 minutes from now, no one's going to be talking about that. But if you give the worst speech of all time, people are going to be talking about that for a while.
Yeah, that's right.
Some people, that might be the only time they ever see you. There's people in that room that don't know you, and you know how they're going to remember you? They're going to remember you as the guy that gave the worst speech ever.
Actually, that actually happened, not to me, but the person that gave the other speech at the wedding I spoke at, and that was a topic of conversation.
And that's how you remember him.
That it was not a great speech, yeah.
Nobody does it better. The Riot Radio U.
You know, love can be found in some of the most peculiar places. For example, love could even be found at a robbery. It all start to bloom when somebody steals something from you. That's what happened to this couple in Brazil. A woman had her phone stolen by the man she now calls her boyfriend.
Isn't that cute?
Isn't it cute? They've been together for 2 years now. The story goes, as they tell it, she was walking down the street where this guy happens to live. I don't think she knew him at the time. She didn't know him at the time. She was passing by. He snatched her phone somehow, or she actually lost it. So she lost her phone. This guy nabs it, and he was just going to keep it, but then he saw her photo in the phone, and it's like, wow, this is a really, his words are that, what a beautiful brunette. You don't see a brunette like that every day. And he instantly regretted stealing the phone and then got in touch with this woman. Her phone number was, well, I guess he was able to get her back the phone. And from there, it was all love at that point.
Wow.
What a beautiful story. I guess it would be different, right, if he actually mugged her and stole the phone. Apparently she lost it, and he was just going to steal it and keep it. And then had to change his ways.
You think that he, like, introduced himself by saying, I was going to steal this, but I decided not to?
Or did he introduce that at a later time in the relationship?
And instead he said, like, oh, I found this.
Yeah.
I'm actually your knight in shining armor. Did I take it? Maybe. In the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a change of heart.
But what were my intentions?
When I saw your lock screen, Saw your beautiful face. I was like, I have to get this back to this woman.
If you were ugly, I would have just kept this.
I would have factory reset this thing in 30 seconds.
Thrown it on eBay or something like that.
This would have been a $700 swing for me.
Yeah.
Instead, I saw your lock screen. You looked cute. Give you a quick ring.
And the rest is history. I mean, for now anyways, they've been together for 2 years. Some people question, it's not exactly known whether other people in her life approve of this relationship given its peculiar start. But I mean, love is love, especially if, like it's something you see in the movies play out so often. I don't know how often it really happens in real life of like, the good girl that gets a bad guy to change his ways.
Doesn't usually work, but
maybe in this case though, this is that story. This is a scenario where that actually happened. This guy, a criminal, a robber, a thief, and he meets a beautiful woman who has a kind heart, and all of a sudden, he starts to think a little differently. He starts to do things the right way. Starts to straighten up, smarten up.
I don't know if I trust this guy.
I mean, they've been together for 2 years.
Yeah, but this isn't getting him on the straight and narrow path.
You think he's still robbing?
He's probably still stealing phones.
Maybe they're a Bonnie and Clyde situation.
Ah, she's in on it too now.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe it could be the complete opposite. Like, hey, I stole this. I was going to sell it, but you're too cute for me to steal from. However, there's plenty of, yet again, less attractive people out there that if we work together,
we can rob.
Think of the things we could steal. I don't know. I mean, as long as they're together, they're happy, and they're not committing crimes, I'm all for it. However,
yeah, what a great way to introduce yourself.
Yeah.
I was going to take it.
Hello.
But I didn't.
I'm Manuel. I stole your phone.
Wasn't that a great Riot clip? While you're here, you should watch more of our videos and subscribe so you don't miss what we do next.